Welcome back. In the ongoing conversation about the internet computer, we are now finding out that the internet computer is now destroying more coins than we've seen happening for quite a while. But is this a positive thing or a negative thing? And what does this actually mean for the network? We're going to break that all down in today's video. We're going to look at the metrics of the internet computer protocol to understand what is going on and why are they burning so many coins. Because you know, right here on the Cryptoviser podcast, we do love a good coin burn, because coin burning means you're reducing the supply. And when you reduce the supply and the market cap stays the same, what happens to the price? It goes up. This is what tokenomics are. And we're also going to break down what the ICP tokenomics look like, how the internet computer protocol coin actually works, and what this means for you, how you can make money. And we're going to talk about all of that and more on today's video. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We upload every single day of the year to bring you the latest happening in the financial world. Sometimes we do deep dives into individual cryptocurrency and projects like we're doing today. And sometimes we talk about the macro and what is going on in the overall economic conditions around the world and how that affects the crypto market. So make sure you guys are subscribed, give the video a thumbs up, and think about becoming a channel member by clicking the join button down below to learn more. But let's get into today's topic. All right, guys, so Zero to Hero on X said finally last week the downtrend has been broken as the ecosystem burned about 31,000 ICP tokens. Ooh, there's Dr. Evil. It's about $150,000 at about $5 price, which we're at a $5, $6 price when I'm recording this video, but the price is not what matters. What matters is the metrics. Now, you can go to IC Terminal to find this, or you can also go into the dashboard, which we're going to go into in just a bit. But this shows you about the 1 year chart from 2024 into where we are in the middle of 2025. And this shows you the burned ICP tokens per, I think, week. And so what you can see here is that in September, we saw a big spike last year, and then we saw a big drop. And then we saw a nice steady increase towards the end of the year into the early 2025. And then it's been downtrending ever since. Now, what exactly does coin burning mean in internet computer talk or ICP talk? Well, let's see if we could just type in burned. Yes. So basically, the internet computer uses ICP to pay for the usage of resources. More specifically, ICP tokens can be converted to cycles, which is burning the coins. And these cycles are used by developers to pay for installing smart contracts called canisters, and for the resources that the canisters use, like storage, CPU, and bandwidth. The cycle price is pegged to a basket of fiat currencies, so the conversion rate ICP to cycles fluctuates with the market price of ICP. Hence, the cost of developers of acquiring fuel to run their applications is predictable. So let me rephrase. Effectively, to utilize the internet computer network, you need to use what are called cycles. This is basically like the ICP gas. You know, if you think about Ethereum uses gas to pay for the network computation. The same thing is happening on internet computer. So on internet computer, you take your coin and you convert it into cycles. So it burns the internet computer coin and it creates what's called a cycle. Honestly, they could have called it something else. They could have called it like, gas or fuel for the network, or, canister fuel, something like that to make it a little bit easier to understand. But regardless, here we are, okay? So you burn your coin and it converts it into cycles. Then you use the cycles to pay for the computation and storage or whatever else you're using from the resources of the network. You're paying those node operators in cycles. And then the node operators, they go and burn the cycles and they remint internet computer coins. So hopefully that makes sense. You take your ICP, you convert it to cycles, you pay for your network usage, and then the node operator takes those cycles and they convert them back into ICP. And so when we see a lot of burning of coins and or a lot of minting of coins, we can assume that there's more network activity, really more on the burning side than the minting side, because a node operator may not reverse the cycle into ICP immediately. But for you to pay for computation on the network, you have to pay for that immediately. And so if we look at how much coin burning is going on, we can identify that whether there's more network activity on the internet computer or not. Now, again, this is from my analysis. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but I have done a lot of research on the internet computer. And, if I'm wrong on this, I will definitely make an update video, but I don't think that I am. And so when we really understand, right, what the cycle burn rate is, which is right here on the dashboard, the internet computer dashboard, the cycle burn rate, it says this is the rate at which cycles are being burned on the internet computer. Cycles are burned when canisters consume resources such as computation, memory, and storage. The burn rate is measured in cycles per second. And so when we see the cycles per second increasing, we can assume that there's more resources being used. And this is the cycle burn rate. We also want to understand the ICP burn rate, because the ICP burn rate will let us know how they're converting ICP into cycles. Hopefully I'm explaining this correctly. We can also look at the canister state. This shows us how much memory is basically being stored in smart contracts. And so we're seeing a steady increase. You can see on the 1 year chart, we went from 4.5 TIB, which I think, I don't know, you guys told me in a previous video and I forgot already, but we'll just call it terabytes, but I think it's more than a terabyte. But anyway, 4.5, and it went all the way up to 7.5, which is almost a doubling, right? All right, I got it. So when you go to tokens and click on ICP tokenomics, you can actually see all of the more detailed information here, including the total ICP burn rate. Now, I pulled it up on the screen and it says this chart shows the total amount of ICP burned. ICP is burned by converting ICP to cycles, fees from rejected proposals, and ICP transaction fees. So this is where all the total ICP burn comes from. And what you can clearly, I don't know if anything can define clearly as much as this, right? From basically September of 2024 through now, we have seen a significant increase in the burning of ICP. Okay, so we went from basically a total of about 170,000 ICP total, all the way up to where we are today, which is over basically almost 2 million ICP. So that basically means we have over 10x'd in less than 1 year. In just about 1 year, we have 10x'd in the total ICP burned. And by the way, this is cumulative, not per day. And so when I see this, it's very interesting to me. But it also is very in line with the internet computer AI timeline. And so the timeline for ICP's artificial intelligence began in the beginning of 2024. Beginning of 2024, Dominic, the founder of Dfinity and the chief scientist over there as well, he basically showed us the first iteration of AI capabilities on the internet computer. And this was through like image generation or image recognition and things like that. And then since then, he's been talking about the self-writing internet, where you can utilize this AI to not only create and code an application or a dApp for you, but it can also deploy it directly to the internet computer, and the internet computer would host the entire dApp itself. This is revolutionary, and this is also the first implementation that we've seen of AI's large language models being able to read, write, and code itself, and then actually also deploy it on the internet computer directly. No other blockchain has the capability to do that just yet. And so over the last year and a half, Dfinity and internet computer developers around the world have been developing their AI capabilities and AI functionality. And that is when we started to see spikes in a lot of these metrics on the internet computer. So going back to the main ICP dashboard for 1 second, I want to show you guys something else, because what we were able to see is if you look at the transaction throughput on the internet computer, this is transactions per second, and this is day by day. And what if I pull up the 1 year chart, what you can see here when it loads is we had a little bit of a spike here from about 2,000 all the way up to about 8,000 in September of 2025. These are transactions per second, the throughput. And so we saw a significant basically a 4x in total transactions in a matter of weeks. And then it started to, calm down a little bit. And then we saw another spike towards the end of 2024, and then another spike in the beginning of 2025. And then the huge spike right before June when they released the AI, which was called Caffeine AI. And this was the video that I was just showing you, where Dominic was basically demoing live on stage in front of the whole world. They were live streaming it as well, how Caffeine AI can write an application in just, this was a 30-minute presentation. Dominic was talking for half the time. And in the other half the time, the program was writing and coding entire dApps. They created 3 dApps live on stage in the matter of 30 minutes. And the actual, from typing in to the creation of the first iteration was about 30 seconds, 45 seconds. So that, to me, lines up very, very closely with the development of the AI capabilities and the transactions and the other metrics on the network significantly improving. And so when I'm thinking about, okay, well, they just released the AI, like people are not yet really using it. They're testing it, but companies are not using it. Large corporations haven't really started publicly testing it, although, as I've reported on this channel extensively, by the way, there is a lot of interest in Internet Computer Protocol from around the world, from a lot of different companies that we know about, and some that we don't. Some that I'm sure that they're working on back-end integrations or possible testing that we don't even know about. And Dominic also said that he believes that the transaction throughput is going to increase by 10x in just a matter of months. And so right now, Internet Computer is the fastest blockchain in the world, faster than Solana by a factor of 2. And significantly faster than most of the other chains. Most of the other chains outside of Solana and ICP are, in the double-digit transactions per second, under 100. Some of them are in the hundreds, but none of them are in the thousands of transactions per second, even though pretty much every chain has promised this for years. We're going to have 1 million transactions per second. We're going to have a bazillion transactions per second. None of them even have close to 1,000, right? So ICP is now the fastest blockchain in the world. Right? By far, ICP has been able to increase the transaction throughput with no major hiccups, no minor hiccups at all with the network, right? It's been flawlessly operating through all of this. We're seeing on-chain AI or AI putting things on-chain within the Internet Computer ecosystem with Caffeine AI. And I just also reported about another AI implementation called Compute AI. And they also deployed their AI agent on the Internet Computer recently as well. And so there's a lot of usage and computation that's going to be needed to be used. And the more people that test the AI capabilities, the more companies that test it and maybe even implement some of this AI into their business or like I said, like you can create a business now where you're creating apps or websites for people, and all you do is use the AI, and the AI creates it, and you're still charging, these exorbitant fees to do all this tech work that they think is being done by a human, but it's not. It's being done by a computer. And this is where we're transitioning, right? Not just in traditional finance, decentralized finance, but also in technological breakthroughs, where people who are using AI today are going to go much further than people who are not using AI for their jobs, because the people who are not using AI, they're going to be left behind. And by the way, there's a lot of company, when I hear about like schools like punishing students for using AI, and I'm like, they should be encouraging it, because that is the future. Right? It's the same thing like when I was in school, they would say like, you can't have a calculator because you're never going to be walking around with a calculator. And it's like, that's not true. Like we're all walking around with calculators now. And so utilizing the technology to help you, I don't think is a negative thing if you understand, in education, you don't have to understand everything. Even in finance and in blockchain, like I don't understand half the stuff we talk about on this channel, right? But when I put it into context of the overall and understand like okay, like if you don't understand how smart contracts work or how the back end technology works, it doesn't matter. You just know that people are using smart contracts, that smart contracts power decentralized finance. Smart contracts power basically, on-chain governance. They protect multiple parties in disagreement about something or about payments. I mean, there's so many things that smart contracts can actually do. They provide the ability to interoperate between Bitcoin, which doesn't have the capability of smart contracts, to Ethereum that does, right? And that's something that never has been able to be done before. And so whether you understand how the technology actually does that or not, I don't think it matters. I think that if you understand where it is in the context of this technology and the capabilities and the benefits, well, you understand overall what's going on. And so when we're talking about Internet Computer Protocol, we have so many metrics that we can clearly identify where Internet Computer on-chain activity is. And it's not just one metric, because a lot of other ecosystems in crypto and blockchain, they use just one metric. They'll use like transactions per second, or they'll use daily active wallets and all of this, right? But that doesn't necessarily tell us anything, because you could have a network where you have bots trading back and forth against each other so that it looks like there's actually a lot of on-chain activity, but it's really just bots, having fun with each other, I guess. It's the same thing during the last cycle in the NFT craze. Everyone was saying, Cryptoviser, this NFT is worth $2 million. I'm like, no, it's worth nothing. I can right click and save it. No, you can't. I own it. It's like, no, I can. I would own it, right? Well, you can't do anything with it. Yeah, I can go to the store and print it out and put it on my wall. Like, you don't own it, right? It's just an NFT. But people thought that they were worth $2 million because they didn't understand how these networks operate. And they didn't understand that I can buy an NFT, then sell it to myself for double the price, then sell it back to myself for double the price, then sell it back to myself for double the price. And before you know it, my NFT is worth $2 million. But I'm selling it to myself, okay? So I'm not actually selling. Nobody's actually buying it for $2 million, right? So that was one metric that everyone was using to say, oh, NFTs are number one. They're the best thing ever. It's like, no, they're not. And with other ecosystems, we have, we have the number one transactions per second. Okay, you have no DeFi. We have the number one DeFi. Okay, you're not very highly interoperable, right? You can go back and forth. But with Internet Computer, we have total ICP burned. We know that there's Internet Computer that are being burned to then go and operate and use the system. And this is increasing by a factor of 10x in less than 1 year. That's metric number one. Metric number two, transaction throughput, transactions per second. This has basically gone from a low of about 2,000 transactions per second all the way up to about 12,000 transactions per second just a few months before I'm recording this video in the middle of 2025. And so transactions per second, 6x in less than 1 year. Right? Then we can go to other metrics as well. You want to see where the Internet Computer sits in terms of people believing in the network. Well, let's look at the total amount staked. 43% of the total supply of ICP is staked. 43.5%. Now, some people will say this is not that much, but I would disagree, because not only are they staking these coins, but they're staking it for very long periods of time. You can see this top blue line. This is the 8-year stake. And while it looks like it's going down, it's actually not. It's actually going up, because you can see here the 8-year stake back a few years ago, 3-4 years ago, was about 106 million ICP. But today, it's 145 million. So that's an increase of about 45% in people who are staking their coins for 8 years. And by the way, they are earning more rewards for staking it for a longer period of time, but this is still a very large quantity, and we're seeing that increasing. We see the 7-year stake increasing as well. The 7-year stake increased from about 3 million ICP to 9 million. So that's a triple, right? 6 to 7 year stake increased from 500,000 all the way up to 5 million. So that was a 10x. So although overall stake has decreased, the overall staking in the network went from 273 million coins 3 years ago to 230 million coins. but we're seeing a significant increase in the long-term staking. And no other ecosystem has staking for this amount of time, 8 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. And it's locked. Like, you cannot access those coins for that amount of time. And so that's another metric of long-term belief in the system. And so this, while most networks won't do this long-term staking because people want liquidity, they don't want to lock up their coins, they don't want to not have access to their investment, which I understand. And I'm on that side versus I would rather be in a liquid asset than an illiquid asset. And if you don't have access to your coins, it's illiquid. And but there's a lot of people who do, and these people are putting a lot on the line, right? They're putting their money on the line, half the network, right? And so for me as an investor, this is good. It's kind of like insiders in a company never selling the stock of the company. It's a very positive sign that they believe that the future growth is going to be very, very good and that the price is going to be higher at some point in the future. Otherwise, maybe they would sell it now. And so this is a very good indicator for me, along with all the other metrics that we went through. And that's not the only metrics we have on the network, right? We can see a lot of other network metrics. We can see what proposals are being put out, what the network is trying to do. Are they trying to change the network code? Are they trying to change how the rewards work? Are they trying to change how governance works? Like, you can actually go look at the proposals and actually see, how is Dfinity voting on these? How is the Internet Computer developers voting on these proposals? And this can give you insight into the direction of the network and where the network is. Is this investable? Is this bullish? Is this good for the technology and capabilities? Or are we seeing, proposals to get coin for nonsense? I mean, I've done reporting on other chains that wanted, I kid you not, we did a video on one ecosystem. There was a proposal to have a chief happiness officer who wanted to get paid I think $50,000 or $100,000 a year in those coins to be the chief happiness officer and make everybody feel good in the ecosystem. And I'm like, this is not a real blockchain, right? But on Internet Computer, it's all there, and you can see the very high level things that they're doing to upgrade the network, to make it more efficient, to make it work better, to add more functionality, to increase the canister size, to increase the WebAssembly integration, right? We just did a video the other day about the WASM 64 integration, which would increase the ability of the Internet Computer smart contracts by multiple factors, right? And so I'm bullish on this ecosystem. I don't know how much clearer I can be about it. I mean, you can go into their documents, you can see how the rewards work, you can see how the token supply operates. You can actually see on the Internet Computer, how much inflation you're actually seeing in the coins. You can see how many canisters are out there, what the total volume of the network is, how much people are using chain fusion technology. This is interoperability and cross-chain moving coins between one chain to another. There's so many metrics to look at, and every metric I look at is kind of telling me the same thing, that this is a long-term project with deep, very, very well-researched and well-developed technology and capabilities that no other blockchain out here has yet. I think there's going to be competition, but I don't know that the competition is going to be able to keep up with all of the things that Internet Computer and Dfinity developers have been working on for years. And we see that from the network metrics, which are showing us that the network keeps improving, keeps growing, and keeps getting stronger. And for that, I'm bullish. Let me know what you guys think about Internet Computer destroying their coins by burning the coins into cycles. And are you staking your coins? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Give the video a free thumbs up while you're down there commenting. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Invest responsibly. Do your own research, and crypto on.